big topic to explain. But what are the important is what is the IP address and MAC address, IP address, IPv4 and IPv6, IPv4 and IPv6 differences also important. In IPv4, what are the classes and subnet mask is an important one. Okay. So remaining all, sometimes guys, we can't give chance at the time of interview. Sometimes you may see in the whole interview questions, maybe some questions rarely asking, some questions are frequently asking. But we should not give whether it is rarely asking or frequently asked questions. So we should know things for an interview. Also, not only interview, while working, all these things are helpful to understand for your work. Okay. And next, yeah. Now we're going to see what is this protocol and port number, then OSI model, and some OSI with the help of OSI, how you troubleshoot, and OSI and TCP IP differences. Okay, and some networking commands, and how to check the connectivity between the devices. Still, we have a time, then I will try to show you Wi-Fi router configuration steps. What are the steps, how it is configured and all. Okay. So first we'll see about protocols and port numbers. In earlier, so in the starting, what we discussed it is what is your okay, we're almost there. Okay. So what are the requirements to connect and communicate in the network? Okay. So first of all, you have a device and you want to connect it to network. So either you are a computer or a laptop or a mobile phone. So you want to connect it to the network, either wired or wireless. It required an NIC, network interface card, either built in inside of the NIC or maybe additional adapter you are attaching to it, right? That is, you need an NIC to connect to the network. Next is we need a media, either it is wireless media, 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz frequency media, or maybe cable media like coaxial cable, twisted pair cable, fiber optical cable. Depends upon your network, depends upon your NIC, we use it. For example, my laptop, I'm right now connected with the wirelessly. So I use my wireless adapter and my network is wireless network here. So I'm connecting wirelessly. For example, I want to connect it through cable. Then I have to connect it to my another adapter, which is my Ethernet adapter, gigabit Ethernet adapter is there in my laptop. So I use the UTP cable to connect it, right? So the media is another important. Next is, of course, you are connecting from your device, but what is the, depends upon what type of network you are connecting. Okay, so based on that, what device we are using to create and connecting the network, right? Hubs, switches, routers, wireless access point, Wi-Fi routers, okay, modems. So different devices for different types of connectivity, different purpose we are connecting. So this is up to creation of network. Like this is you set up a network. Now you want to communicate in the network. Either internal communication or external communication, means public communication, or within the network you want to communicate. So first of all, you want to communicate in the network, you need an address, right? So your system need an address. That's a logical address. What we are using is IP address. Whether it is IPv4 or IPv6 depends upon your network. How you will get an IP address? Either you will configure manually. Mostly we are getting an IP address automatically from DHCP server. This DHCP server also can be a kind of a Windows server. It can be from a Windows server as a DHCP server, Linux server as a DHCP server, your Wi-Fi router as a DHCP server, firewall as a DHCP server, like that, we're using it. Okay. And finally, you are communicating. So you are having an address. and your destination also having an address. Now you can able to communicate, right? So to communicate, so what type of communication you are doing? So starting point of starting a network. So we discussed, right? What is why we need a network? To share information, data, resources between the devices. We need a network. Okay, or to communicate between the devices, we need a network. What type of communication? What type of communication? Email communication, web related communication, file upload download communication, folder access related communication, authentication based communication. Okay, so different types of communications are there. So what type of communication you are doing it? What type of communication you are doing it? So how the system will understand what type of communication you want it from other system, right? How these systems understand what type of communication it is based on the protocols. The protocols, just generally people say protocols are set of rules. But what rules? Okay, what rules? So protocol, okay. So depends upon what type of communication you are doing it. So use that related protocol. So for example, you want to access a website. What protocol you use it? Web related communication, HTTP, HTTPS communication. Okay. Yeah, I will open some website and show that it's a kind of website also. So this is my protocol, HTTPS protocol I'm using. If in case I want to check the connectivity between the devices, then I use a ping command. Ping command use a protocol called ICMP protocol. Okay. I have some remote server. So then I want to upload a file or download a file. So what is the protocol? FTP protocol. I have a remote Linux machine and I want to connect to my Linux machine, and then I will going to configure, or I will going to install an application, or configuring that application, right? So my server is in different location, means in the network, my server is in my network, but I want to access from my system. Okay. So that is, I use different protocols like SSH protocol. Okay. So TELNET protocols, RDP. So I have a remote desktop is there. Okay. So I have a desktop, or maybe I have another server in my network. So then I want to access this entire system from my system. Okay, then I will go to do certain things like a configuring, installation, and all. I will do it. So how can I do it? So through RDP protocols. Now I'm sending a mail to my mail server. Like you are sending mail, right? Gmail.com, like that. You are sending mail. For sending mail, so SMTP protocol. You're looking for your mails. You're checking your mails. You send a request is POP3 or IMAP protocol. So depends upon what protocol you're using. That related communication is there. That related communication is there. Okay. So we know DHCP, DNS protocols also, right? So you want your system, if or on your system, your system not having an IP address. Okay, no IP address is configured. So then you need an IP address. So what you do, your system send a DHCP request to the DHCP server, and DHCP server will give you an IP address. Now you got an IP address. Same way DNS protocol. DNS protocol. So I open this tpointtech.com, tpointtech.com, right? So I know the name, but I don't know the IP address of this server. So how to get it? So I send a DNS request to my DNS server. To the DNS server, I send a DNS request and asking, I want IP address of www.tpointtech.com. Then what is DNS server do? It will give a IP address of tpointtech.com's server IP address. Okay, it will give IP address of www.tpointtech.com to your system. Now your system got an IP address. then it will communicate to this tpoint.com with an IP address. Okay, because we already I told that is IP address with the all communications by IP address only. Okay, next NTP protocol. See, you see this date and time. This date and time I received it from NTP only. So I go to adjust date and time. You see somewhere it is sync now. Okay, time server time.windows.com. So my system send a request to the time.windows.com. Okay, then I got this date and time from this time.windows.com according to my time zone. If I change my time zone, automatically time also changes. Okay, so this based on that time zone. So I got this time. So from where I got this time, where from how this time is configured in my system from time.windows.com. But how this time.windows.com understand what you require based on the protocol. So you send NTP request to the time.windows.com. Time.windows understand you need to sync the time based on your time zone. So it will configure the time to you. KERBEROS and LDAP is remote authentication related protocols. Okay, so you log in, so you give username and password. So it should be authenticated, means verify the identity, and then allow access, right? That is authentication and authorization by this protocol. Not only this protocol, lot of protocols are there. Just example. SNMP, while you are monitoring your infrastructure, like you are having routers, switches, servers. Okay, so different type of servers are there. Okay, so you are monitoring, so you are checking, so what is the status of this server, is power on or power off, currently running or not. So you want to get that information. So you send SNMP trap request and you receive SNMP responses from the server to make sure that is with the information. Okay, so these are other application related protocol port numbers. Anyway, we'll go back to once, guys. What is a protocol? Protocol defines what type of communication. To understand what type of communication between two systems, so what is that? We have to use that related protocol. Either you use the protocol or maybe the applications use the protocol or system use the protocol, kind of stuff. Okay, different protocols for different type of communication. Okay, different type of connectivity. Not only communication, different type of connectivities. So we'll see different protocols. Not only these protocols, there are several protocols are there. I listed some of the protocols, around 15, 16 protocols are listed. Okay. And these are the most regularly used protocols, daily used protocols. So these are also, and every protocol has a port number. What is this port number? If this port number representation of protocol, okay, it represents this is a protocol. System understand, okay, system understand it by port numbers based on what type of connectivity by port numbers. Okay, so that is thing. So each protocol having a either one or two port numbers. Okay, and these port numbers also there is 65,536 port numbers are there totally. Out of that 1023 port numbers are reserved port numbers for already defined port protocols. Some are optional port numbers, some are user defined port numbers also available. Means some port numbers we can also define based on our service connectivity. Okay, anyway, guys, see this HTTP, HTTPS. So here is a list of protocols and how to remember these protocols. So think like what you use daily. Daily we do web access, right? So web related access. HTTP, HTTPS both are for web related access. Web access, website access we use HTTP or HTTPS protocols. Okay. The HTTP port number is 80, HTTPS is 443. And there is a question, what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? You see all these URLs having a HTTPS protocol here. This is also HTTPS. This is also HTTPS here. Okay. So why it is this HTTPS and HTTP? Actually, web-based communication is HTTP. Web page you want it, HTTP. Okay. Website, web server, you want a connectivity, you want a send a request is HTTP. Okay. This HTTP does not encrypt your data. What are the data you are sending and receiving? Not encrypted. It is directly sending the data. But HTTPS, it will encrypt your data. So it will secure your data. Okay. Yes, some people use that as like a secure. HTTP secure. What is the secure? It is actually HTTPS, HTTP or SSL, secure socket layer. Secure socket layer. So it will encrypt your data. So what is HTTP, HTTPS? HTTPS has an encryption, end-to-end encryption. What are the data you are seeing? So and this is what are the data it is. It is at my side, it is data wise only. But when it is transmitting through internet, transmitting through network, it is encrypted and sent. Okay. And when I'm receiving, it is encrypted and sent. So here it is decrypted. I will able to see the data again. Okay. So anything it is, even like your WhatsApp, end-to-end encryption. We can see the message, other person can able to see the message. Between what are the data you are sending and receiving, the data is encrypted and sent and decrypted and received. Okay, you received encrypted data and it is decrypted at your side only. Okay, yeah, it's okay. HTTP, HTTPS are both are for web communication. HTTP port number is 80, HTTPS 443. HTTPS is data is encrypted, secure protocol it is. Okay. Next protocol is FTP. In FTP also secure protocols are there. SFTP, VSFTP for securing. But FTP is a plain 2021 port numbers. As already I said, certain protocols having one port number, some are having two port numbers. FTP 2021 used for uploading and downloading files. I have a FTP server. So I want to store my data into FTP server. Then I will connect my FTP. I will send my data to FTP server, receive it. But how that server understand what type of communication, what type of thing you want to directly do? So basically your protocol, right? So FTP protocol used for uploading and downloading file from your system to the FTP server. SSH, TELNET, RDP. All these protocols used for remote access purpose only. Remote access purpose only. Okay. TELNET is port number is 23 and SSH port number is 22. Both protocols are CLI based, command line interface connectivity. Okay. Through command line only we are connecting and configuring, accessing remote system. TELNET port number is 23, which is non-encrypted. By default, no encryption in TELNET. But SSH by default encrypted connectivity. By default encrypted connectivity. It uses different hashing algorithms to encrypt it, usually RSA algorithm. Okay. So SSH port number is 22, used for remote access by default encryption. By default, it is encrypted. Okay. TELNET is port number is 23, remote access purpose. By default, no encryption. Okay. RDP is encrypted connectivity. Okay. And it is generally RDP, remote desktop protocol. Okay. It is generally used in Microsoft remote desktop purpose. So I have a remote machine, a remote desktop, remote system is there. Another system, another desktop is there in my network. So for example, from here, I want to access the desktop environment from my laptop. So I can connect through remote desktop. Okay. You can connect using remote desktop. So RDP connect. The port number is 3389. So it's a GUI model. So simple SSH and Telnet are CLI based. RDP is GUI, entire desktop environment, means generally how you see this desktop, same way. Little difference is there, guys, remote desktop and remote assistant type is there. So you are seeing my screen, you are looking at my screen, how it is, because sharing, desktop sharing, okay, desktop sharing. So like using Microsoft Teams, I share my desktop, so you can able to see it. If you are want to control my desktop, then I have to give control permission. Okay, so just you are looking at my desktop. That's it. If I give you control permission, then you can also control it. Just example, any desk. Okay, any desk, team viewers, ultra viewers. Based on the permissions, of course, based on the permissions, you can view the desktop as well as you can control the desktops. There are also the remote assistants or remote desktop sharing. Desktop sharing is little different between desktop remote assistants. Okay. Okay. So these are the remote access protocol, SSH, Telnet, RDP. And of course, daily we are sending mails and receiving mails. Daily we are checking mails, right? What are the protocols used? SMTP, POP3, IMAP. The default port number of SMTP is 25. SMTP protocol used to send mail. It is like a outgoing mail server protocol. Okay. So where you are sending mail means you compose the mail, you click on the send button. So along with your information means your system IP address, destination IP address, your two email address from email address, and protocol is SMTP. Okay. So then the remote mail server, there is a mail server, understand you are want to send a mail. Then it will check. First, it will understand what is your request, sending mail. So what is the mail information? It check what is your to address from address. According to that, it will process it. Okay. POP3 IMAP. POP3 IMAP. POP3 is 110 and IMAP is 143. Used for retrieval of mails, or receive or retrieve mails. Also, you can call as this protocol incoming mail server protocols. Means you send a request to the mail server with a POP3 protocol. So server understand you want to see your mails. What are the new mails are available? What are the mails in your server? So that will send to your client system, your client application. So you can able to view your mails. For example, you log into your Gmail account. So you see your mails, right? So what happened? When you log in, automatically request will send to the Gmail server. So for this is a mail account. I want to see my mails. So it will verify your authentication and check your mails in the mail server, and it will forward that mails to your system. So it will be able to see that mails. Okay, it send your mails. So then you will able to see your mails. Okay. So these are the things, SMTP, POP3, IMAP for mail communication purpose. Next protocol is FTP. TFTP, Trivial File Transfer Protocol. It's a kind of file transfer protocol only, little different. Port number is 69. It is usually for remote configurations purpose, not remote upload or download a file, but remote upload and download configuration files. Remote configuration file upload or download remote config, like a backup of already like you have some router is there or maybe a server is there. I want to configure that server. So I already configured, I have a configuration file. Simply I want to upload that configuration file, so then server is configured. So I use a TFTP protocol. Or I want to back up that configuration of my remote device. Then I can take a backup and download that configuration file into my local system. So I can use it for later like that. Okay. TFTP, Trivial File Transfer Protocol. You already know what is DHCP and DNS, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, port number 6768. This protocol, DHCP protocol, you send DHCP request to the DHCP server to get an IP address to your system. So DHCP server understand your DHCP request and assign an IP address to your system automatically. So you got your IP address. DNS port number is 53. You send a DNS request to the DNS server to get an IP address of some other system. You know the name like a www.facebook.com, www.youtube.com, studio.youtube.com, docs.google.com, mail.google.com, meet.google.com. So you are asking like a technet.microsoft.com, www.microsoft.com, azure.microsoft. So like, remote, the name, but you don't know that system IP address. So what you do, your system send request, a DNS request to the DNS server. DNS server will assign an IP address to you. Not assigning, it will provide IP address of that remote server. Next is NTP. Already explained, just explain NTP, Network Time Protocol. It synchronizes the time with a time server. Example, time.windows.com, port number is 123. So time synchronization purpose. So for example, in an organization, I have a different systems, are there desktops, laptops, servers, storage devices, so different applications are running. And all are in my same location, or it can be different geographical location, means where they are in the different time zones or in the same time zone. But whatever it is, all should be follow the same type of time. Based on their time zone, they should follow the time based on one single time server. So then there is no mismatching, encryption issues won't become. Guys, most of the issues like a hardware related or application related issues will be resolved by simple restart of the system, simple restart of services. Okay, simple restart of services, simple restart of systems, issues will be resolved. And another one is people try different type of solutions, mainly this accessing web related access, server related access, okay, applications access. So they got an issue, they try all the related issue troubleshoot. But one of the important one is time synchronization. If your time is not correctly configured, sometimes it is as per your time zone. Your time is not properly configured differently from the actual time based on your time zone. So that this encrypted based connectivity, it will give issues mainly. Okay, non-encrypted also maybe you will get it, but encrypted definitely it is. Like you are using HTTPS, website won't connect it. Your URL is correct. It's connecting for everyone, but not for your system. Server is available, your network is available, other applications are running, other websites are connecting, only specific website is not connecting. Okay, even you are connected, but still it's not working properly as earlier. So what is the problem? So we don't know. So we try everything, but one of the reason is time synchronization. Time is different from other system. Okay, that's the thing. So you have to check that time also properly. Time is configured or not. So time. That's why in organizations they follow one separate time server. So they said this every system in our organization should follow this time based on our time server only. Okay, so like that. KERBEROS and LDAP authentication protocols. This KERBEROS protocol used in Active Directory services. Okay, Microsoft Active Directory services. Your organizations, all our systems are belongs to the organization only. My laptop or other desktops, everything is belongs to the organization control only. So in organization, we have an Active Directory server is there called domain controller, which authenticate our systems when we are logging. So that's protocol is KERBEROS protocol. So this KERBEROS and LDAP protocol used for authentication and authorization. You log into your system and you give a username and password. It should be authenticated. So which protocol is used to authenticate? Different authentication protocols used. So one is like KERBEROS, another one is LDAP, and of course some organization use different other authentications also. Simple to understand authentication protocols. Okay. SNMP. Okay, simple network management protocol. So in your network, you have a lot of devices are there, servers, desktops, your laptops, your switches, routers. So different type of devices in the network. So you want to know what is the status, whether it is on or off, what is their performance, what is CPU utilization, memory utilization of all these devices. You want to get that information into one single dashboard system that is like your monitoring tool. So how you get it? Using SNMP protocol only. So these are the different protocol and their usage. Okay. So already I told I put out some protocols. It's not a protocol. These are applications and port number. To connect certain applications, okay. So you have to use certain that application related port numbers. To connect that application services, you have to connect with that port numbers. Okay. So either protocol wise you are connecting or port number wise you are connecting certain applications. You should use certain port numbers to connect to access that application services. For example, I have a MySQL server in the system, in one system. MySQL server is there. I want to connect MySQL server. It's running in a system. But how system will understand what is your request, which application you want to, what service you want to connect it. How that my remote system having an IP address. You're sending request with an IP address. Okay, to address is that system. But how this understand what application they want to connect it, what service they want to connect it, based on your port number. Okay, you use 3306, then system check it, which port number, which service is connecting for a 3306 is a MySQL. Is MySQL is in my system? Yes, then make it connect. And then authentication and authorization, you can able to access MySQL database. Same way for Oracle DB database, TNS listener port number is there. So in my remote machine, in my one system, it's a database server, Oracle database application is installed. I want to connect it from my system to database server. So then I send a request, but how can I tell I want to access the database from the database server, database application? So not only the destination IP address, also will tell this connecting related port number. So that server, that remote server, take my request, understand my request, source and destination wise. It understand first it will you reach the server, server understand which application it has to be connected. Okay, based on your port number only. So I use Tomcat. So Tomcat generally it's a web server kind of stuff, web server application server it is. So by default Tomcat port number is 8080. Default port number 8080 can be used by different web application servers. Tomcat is one of the web application servers. So default one is 8080. So you send 8080 connection. So automatically system will connect to that specific application. Okay, guys, these are the different protocols and port numbers. That's it. Okay, how to remember, how to recollect this all information, guys. First, give importance to daily activities. Daily you are accessing website. Website means HTTP. Okay, Okay, daily you're accessing website. So why I put a blank screen, guys? Recollect information, what you have learned, what you read, what you have discussed. So put a one blank screen and try to recollect, then you will remember like that. Daily you're accessing website. So HTTP, HTTPS. You're sending mails, right? And receiving mails. SMTP, POP3, IMAP protocol. You upload your documents, right? So you're uploading files, usually uploading and downloading to the remote server. Remote server usually FTP servers. Okay, for uploading and downloading FTP server. So FTP protocol 2021. Okay, 2021. You log into your system. Okay, mainly in a organizations wise, so separate authentication system, or you log into different things, right? Your system, you log in Gmail, you log in. So you do log in username and password. So for authenticate this user and password, different authentication authorization protocols use it. Out of that one, two important, one is KERBEROS, second one is LDAP. KERBEROS port number is 88. This authentication protocol used by Active Directory servers. Okay. LDAP is Open LDAP. It is used by different services. Not only Microsoft, Linux and other systems also use LDAP. So there are other protocols also available. Time synchronization. You check the time in your system, your mobile, right? So you check the time. So this time is synchronization. So time is continuity. So from the time server. So how you will get the time from time server is using NTP protocol. Okay. So NTP protocol. Yeah. You got an IP address, right? You check your IP address, you see IP address, you got IP address from DHCP server. Means what protocol? DHCP protocol. And you put in a browser www.w3schools.com, www.facebook.com, www.youtube.com, okay, studio.youtube.com, devocs.google.com, right? So you don't know their IP address, you want that IP address. What protocol you use to get an IP address of that devices, right? Use DNS protocol. Port number is 53. Okay, like this, guys. Try what are the daily usage, regularly usage. Try to sort out first those things important. First are those daily are checking websites, different website you are going. So then what is the web IP? What is the protocols? Mails you are sending and receiving. Okay. What I not this is later after that one means web access, mail access, DHCP, DNS, authentication. These are all generally we are using. Next is remote access, SSH, TELNET, or DPR. Try to remember like this, so you will remember all these protocols, usage of protocols and their port numbers also. Some people do mistake in the remembering of protocol port numbers. They try to put a port numbers in order. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. See, if you see 20, 21, 22, 23, 25 like this, they will try. It will confuses you to remember. It's look like a hard by hiding kind of stuff. You do by hiding, but it's not a by hiding is not a wrong thing. But hard by hiding means a blind by hiding is not a good idea, right? First, understand this protocol. First of all, usage of protocol, where we are using. From where we are using, so you'll understand what protocol you are using and what is their port numbers. Try 1 or 2 times, guys. It is very easy to remember. Okay, so these are the protocols information. This is just added one information here, nothing more. Okay, just to know. So what are the well-known port numbers or system port numbers? Okay, with the registered port numbers. Dynamic private equivalent port numbers. What are the ranges are there? Okay, just type some information here, but these are the regular protocols are used. These are application based port numbers. Okay. So generally, from recent batches, I didn't discuss protocol and port number separately. I included in this OSI model only, but I think it is better to discuss separately. Okay. Now we'll go to the OSI model. Guys, understand what is this protocol, port number, user protocols? Very good. Okay. Then next, what we are going to do is OSI model. It take at least 40 minutes to 1 hour. We'll see. It is because 7 layers we have to discuss. Only transport layer will take more time. Remaining are very less time only. Okay. Anyway, take some 5 minutes break only. Okay. So just take a 5 minutes break and then we'll start again.